Welcome to the wonderful world of wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. This medical program heard from 7 to 7:30 each Saturday right here on WSBR 740 AM is brought to you by the Adult and Geriatric Center under the medical direction of geriatrician Dr. Andy Mencia.
Back on the swing of things.
Back on the swing of things, 2014. What a wonderful year this is going to be.
It's going to be great. Well, 2013 was so wonderful. It was great.
For me too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I am so grateful to God for everything He has sent my way.
Yes, yeah, I feel the
so
same.
I think 2014 with God help will continue to be an excellent year.
I feel the same way. I feel that the world is hopefully closer to peace, which I think is important, and we always hope for that. But more important, I have had so many beautiful people come into my life in 2013, and you, of course, being one of the most important in my life.
I came before then.
Yes, I know you did, but especially, and so many people who talk to me.
I just linger around for the whole year
linger. But so many people have said that to me about Dr. Mencia, that on the show, I mean, they could care less about everybody else. It's like, why don't you have him on for 3 hours, they say. Well, I could do that, I suppose. But, I mean, they don't care about anybody else.
You can have a marathon.
Except you do have competition once a month with the celebrity writer who talks about all those famous stars and all the goodies that they do. That you don't know about. Sorry.
No.
You know about medicine, but you don't know about what happens in their bedrooms in Hollywood.
No. Oh, here we go with the bedroom. Here we go, Richard.
Well, Richard will tell you. I know, right? Not in the kitchen, in the bedroom. Anyway, no, he's pretty good. All right, but you.
Bathroom.
Yeah. Well, in the bathroom, we have a new advertiser, Bathcrest, who really does beautiful restorations of bathrooms. They've just joined us, so that's nice.
I don't believe it until they come to my apartment and fix it up for me. I'm just joking.
Well, but they're going to be at the expo as you are.
Oh, they are?
They're going to come with a big display, and I know that you're going to be at the expo.
Yes, you got so many good people in there.
Oh, fabulous.
Great.
And now, we dedicate it to the veterans, and so we have all the veterans,
thing. So that means I'm welcome then.
Yeah.
I'm a vet.
Yeah.
I'm a veteran.
You're a veteran.
Yes, I am.
What do you mean you're a veteran?
I served the U.S. Army. I am a veteran.
Here I know you all this time. What are you saying to me?
Yeah, I served.
When?
When I was a little kid. Well, I started the Army. Really, my father put me in there through my master instructor in Taekwondo. Because in Hawaii, during the Vietnam War, Hawaii was the backup or division for any support that they needed in Vietnam. So a general, what was his name? General Brooks, came to Hawaii, and he came from South Korea. He was serving in South Korea. And as soon as he came to Hawaii, he said, I want everybody to learn Taekwondo. I want to start a program. So my master and I were hired by the U.S. Army, and we were enlisted, and our job was to create the whole program to eventually get everybody in the 25th Infantry Division in Hawaii involved into Taekwondo. And then I got transferred, because, we grew up huge. It was a huge organization. Then for my safety, because there was a lot of competition with the Japanese martial arts. So for my safety, my father said, you either leave the martial arts or if you're going to stay. And this was huge. I mean, the FBI, the CIA were involved because my master that was serving the Army now got killed. So they transferred me to Washington, D.C., and I started teaching the armed forces now. So a tragedy that happened, put me in a completely different sphere of the universe.
Oh, my heavens.
We can do a show just about that.
Now, that's so wonderful that I knew that you were very important in Taekwondo, but you never said that to us.
I should write my biography a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you should write about that. That's very interesting that you did that. And so Wow. Okay. Well, then that's why you appreciate the expo. But
absolutely, it's a great. I'm so honored.
You know, we did.
You would do this
Yeah,
for
we
the
did this because we felt that the veterans just don't get their due. I mean, you know, they don't. And I said, okay, we have an expo anyway. Let's dedicate it to the veterans. And we have a color guide coming of cadets. We really are working on this. We have a lot of fantastic things, and you're going to be there, and I'm very thrilled about what you're going to be doing. But
I had this week, I had a young kid that had post-traumatic stress syndrome, and he's trying to get all his, you know how it is dealing with the government, getting all his paperwork so he can go So one of his friends said, well, I see Dr. Mencia. He see a lot of the veterans. The VA sent me patients. They say, go and see Dr. Mencia. He's a geriatrician. This guy was like 33. He's a young kid. So he came to see me, and he said, I'm just trying to get this paperwork. So I started sitting down with him, and I got him all the information. I say, call these people. They're going to help you set up everything. And any medication that you need in the process, just come to me. I'll take care of you.
Wow. Good
and
for you.
He said, like, why you do that?
Yeah.
Because he see my ponytail. The last thing he thinks is I'm a vet.
Oh, yeah.
I said, well, I'm a vet just like you, and I'm going to help you. We're here to help each other. And he was so happy. You see the tears coming out of him.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and I know you want to talk about cigarettes, and we will. We have time.
He was so happy. He even bought coffee. He said, what can I do for you?
That's right. Well, because people don't care, it seems like. But I wanted to ask you, now that I know you were involved in one of the other wars, why is it something new? It always was, and we just never dealt with it. Post-traumatic stress. Did people in World War II have this? I mean, what is this all of a sudden?
People in World War I, during the Great Depression, World War II, any war, any major event, we had post-traumatic stress syndrome. The problem was that us, the expert in healthcare, could not recognize the condition. So we didn't recognize it, we didn't treat it, we thought it was fake, and people suffer a lot. A lot of post-traumatic stress victims ended up killing themselves and killing their family with them. Because imagine if you serve the armed forces, you have a wife and kids and what have you, and you go and serve the armed forces, you come back, you go and ask for help because you don't feel right, and they tell you, well, this is on your head, this is all in your head, you don't have a problem. And, you have to care for your family. So those people ended up even killing their own family because I cannot care for them anymore. And then they were so depressed that they ended up killing themselves. So, for many years, we didn't know how to treat this. I remember when my sister came back from Iraq.
Your sister was in the war?
Yeah.
Why are you keeping all this from me?
When my sister came from Iraq, she has post-traumatic. And then we were, it was in about maybe 8-9 years, still were a lot of questions about post-traumatic stress within the armed forces. And I remember trying to help her deal because, my background before medicine was psychology. I'm a psychologist by training. So I tried to work with her, but the diagnosis of post-traumatic stress syndrome is now fully accepted by all these organizations that before used to push them away and say, or your head, you're just trying to get money from us, or you're just trying to get disability. And, it was horrible. Just like we didn't believe in a person after sexual abuse, that they really had a mental problem after that. It was,
Well, fibromyalgia. They thought that, all this stuff, right? So you're telling me that, because I asked Bill. Bill was
chronic fatigue syndrome.
Yeah.
I tell you, I lecture nationwide. I'm a national speaker. And as a national speaker, it's interesting to go and see doctor, MD. You see this MD that had been practicing medicine. And I go and I speak about fibromyalgia to physicians, how to diagnose and treat. And people come out right in my face and say, I just came to the lecture because of the food. I don't believe in this thing. And I say, good, I'm happy you came. Just sit down and listen. Let me see.
But maybe the one thing I want to say, because I asked Bill, who flew B-17s, 35 missions, the whole thing. I said, did you ever have this? He said, I don't think so. No. So what it is
not everybody.
Not everybody, right?
Everybody,
so the people though who are more susceptible to it, are do have it. But I have to say though,
you take Bill in his plane, and his best friend flying next to him. And he look at his best friend with his eye. He look at him getting shot down.
It had to leave.
I
think that's why Bill's a tough guy. I do think it leaves maybe, as you said, we call it post-traumatic stress, but it leaves Bill's a very tough person, and maybe in many ways he's very tender and sweet, but it does leave, I guess, something, because when you see people shot, it's got to. Yeah. Okay. All right, enough of that. Let's talk. You brought this wonderful thing about cigarettes, and you don't even smoke.
I don't smoke cigarettes. No, just kidding. I don't smoke.
No, right.
Like
you and I don't smoke. Oh.
And Obama. All my people from Hawaii.
No, you chew.
Richard, like you, had been, great in helping me grow in the field of radio. And I was looking for a gift for Richard during the holidays. And I said, what do I give Richard for Hanukkah? No, just kidding.
For something.
For something. And I thought, I want him to quit smoking. Remember?
Yes, you've tried. Yes, you have.
To the hypnotherapy.
And he tries. And he does try. And he does still try.
And he still tries.
I know.
Oh, yeah. So I say, wow, what about the electronic cigarette? I can get him that. That would be great, because I really want him to stop smoking. I care for the guy because I know he cares for me. So I want to get him that. So I was so busy I couldn't get the electronic cigarette. So I went on. And I have one of my nurses. She used to work for me almost 10 years ago. And she came by to see me as a patient. And she said, Dr. Mencia, my husband is doing the electronic cigarette. Is that okay? And I say, yeah, I think it's a great idea. If he helps him quit smoking, it's excellent. So she said, well, I don't know, I don't like this chemical and this stuff. I said, yeah, but he was smoking cigarette. It's a lot of nicotine, so now he's doing the electronic cigarette. So maybe that's better. And I never researched it. I know it was becoming so popular, I let it fly by. And yesterday I had another patient. And I say, what about the electronic cigarette? And she goes, have you done research? You have a radio show. Have you done research on the electronic cigarette? I said, no. Why? There's a lot of bad things with the electronic cigarette. I said, there is? I didn't know that. He said, yeah. So, I have Michelle there, Michelle Steven and the staff. And I said, guys, let's do research on this stuff. So we got in the computer, we started doing research, and our eyes opening up. Say, oh my God. So I say, it's the topic for the day. We'll talk about electronic cigarettes. And electronic cigarette may sound like a healthier option to tobacco cigarettes. But the question up in the air is the safety of the electronic cigarette.
Explain to people what it even is or looks like. So people
the
never heard of it.
electronic cigarette, they have different shapes. Some of them look just like a cigarette. So they look just like a cigarette. When you smoke on it, it lights up like a cigarette, and smoke comes out like a cigarette. But they are all kind of shaped. Some of them look like a square. You just puff on it. Some of them look like a pencil. Some people write with a pencil. So when you are writing and then you take your electronic cigarette, you can start puffing on it. It's called vaping because it's vapor that you are releasing. So in this, whatever shape it has, you have these cartridges, devices that will heat up. And when it heats up, it converts the nicotine into a vapor, hence vaping. So it converts into a vapor, and this cartridge may contain other chemical, and that's where the situation come in. It have not been proven they don't qualify as a quit smoking aid. That's where people get confused. Sometimes you see the advertisement on internet because a lot of network marketing out there, people selling through the internet. The FDA have not officially accepted electronic cigarette as a quit smoking aid. They have not been accepted. There's no scientific data to show, like let's say with the nicotine patch, nicotine gum, and all the other things that are out there that show that they can help you stop smoking, and they had been accepted. So the National Lung Association and the FDA recommend that consumers do not use the electronic cigarette. And they're doing their research to see if they would qualify as an aid to smoke. But at this point, because of all the problem, one of the research was done on the journal, was published on the Journal of Chest. It showed that in smokers, they got switched to electronic cigarette, and then they got scoped, and they went into their lung, and they found that after people were smoking the electronic cigarette, there was significant sign of inflammation in the lungs of the subjects that were given the electronic cigarette. So when they saw the inflammation, that's when the government gave the FDA the right to put some budget aside to start looking at electronic cigarette, whether it's beneficial or not. And the chemical that these cartridges have can be toxic to the human body. So when the person starts puffing on the electronic cigarette, and it's interesting because you have an electronic cigarette, you're not smoking, you can puff it in the plane because it's not a cigarette. You can go in a theater, you can put it anywhere.
That's why it's so popular.
Yeah, anywhere you can just puff on this thing because it's not a cigarette. But houses have been burned down because of electronic cigarette. There was a family. The guy was living in his house, building, for 19 years, and he put the cartridge and put it by the bedside. And when you put it on the charger, it can heat up so much that it can burn. It can burn, the part of your house, or in some cases, the entire houses have gone down because of the electronic cigarette. So you have to be cautious, and now they are trying to put more information for the consumers so that they are a little bit more careful when they are handling this and how to dispose of it. Because you take the cartridge after you finish using it, you can refill it. If it's not working anymore, you dispose of it. Now the kids get a hold of the cartridge and they start playing with it, put them apart, and they get contaminated. They get, So when they look at the across the United States, the Poison Control Center has seen a 161% increase in calls related to electronic cigarette, either to the person who is consuming the electronic cigarette or kids that had been exposed to by chewing on the cartridge or putting that cartridge apart, touching it with the skin because it can get absorbed through the skin. So the researchers have found that 3 out of 10 electronic cigarettes that were examined contained formaldehyde and acrolein. And these are non-carcinogenics, meaning that these are chemicals that can promote and provoke the growth of cancer, converting normal cell into cancer cell. And the amount of this carcinogenic on the electronic cigarette in some of these cigarettes that were studied in this research was equal to the level of the one that we find in tobacco cigarettes.
And the price of the, I guess, cigarettes
it's a $1 billion company.
Yeah, but the price to buy one of those, so people are going to go back to cigarettes. When we're talking about us, I remember how many years? Was it 20 years or more when the tobacco companies,
Right.
I got to pick on them because they said, we're not doing anything. It's, and now you see, it's funny, Dr. Mencia, that every physician that I have on my show, whether it's an orthopedic surgeon or a brain surgeon, I'll say, well, what can we do to help? No one should smoke. I mean, that's the first thing they say, the smoking, about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of patients who come in there and they smoke.
Right.
Is that the first thing you tell them?
No.
Oh, you know?
No. I work with them. No, because it's a second.
You can't. Yeah.
No, I work with them.
Yeah.
I tell them, it's like a patient with many different conditions, diabetes. You tell them not to eat. You're eating the wrong, I want my patient to be comfortable with me, that even though they have diabetes, they can say, well, Dr. Mencia, I had a wonderful piece of cake last night. Yeah. They are honest with me. And I'd rather keep that honesty than to start barking at them and shut them down because they are doing the wrong thing. So, when they say, I do tell them, as the moment you are ready to quit smoking, and we educate them about the side effect of nicotine and what have you. But we've been doing that for years, and it's not working. It's not getting us really far out. So what people need is that when the time comes, I know I can count on my physician to help me out. I don't have to do it alone.
Why can't I have an aunt who smoked for 40 some odd years, and one day she said she's not smoking anymore, and she never smoked again. How can someone do that after they smoke for so long?
Willpower. My father used to smoke cigars, and I remember going through medical school. Part of the training, I was teaching the class of anatomy. On my third year, I was teaching the first year student. So I'm teaching the class of anatomy, and I had a slides of a lung, of a healthy lung, and the slides of a smoker, so that the student can look at the lung and how it changes with exposure to certain chemical. And it was interesting when the student, they were, oh my God, and 2 or 3 of them that smoke say, I'm going to stop smoking. When they touched the lung and they saw the difference. And I said, let me take this to my father and show it to him. So I wrapped it, I put it, brought it to my father, and I put it on. He said, Daddy, you know what this is? He goes, what? This is a slide of the lung, of the human lung. And he goes, oh, why this one is so dark and this one is so light? I say, well, this one is a person that never smoked, and right. Look, you can touch it, feel like a sponge, and touch this one. Look how hard it is. I say, this one is a smoker. That's all the nicotine that had been absorbed like a sponge absorbs the dirt or oil when you are using the sponge in the sink. This one is absorbing nicotine, and that's why it's so dark and it's so hard. And then I show him the little hole where the oxygen get exchanged in the smoker lung. They were huge, not tiny little hole, but huge hole. And he saw that and he said, I quit as of today. So I said, okay, I'm going to take the cigars away. He said, nope, leave it right there next to me. I said, oh, I know you're not going to quit. And he said, no, I'm going to show you willpower, because he was my first instructor of martial art. So I said, no, I have to teach you. You just taught me something, so I got to teach you willpower. I said, okay. And I left like, okay, la. He's just going to pop on those cigars as soon as I leave. He never touched one again.
Okay, so this is an important fact then. So people say, well, they have the nicotine inside them and they can't. So what about my aunt and your father? What is that story then?
On what? On the...
They had the nicotine in and they stopped. So why is it we say, well, the nicotine...
the nicotine is like, it starts clearing up.
No, but wait, the willpower. Take the willpower,
right.
Plus the nicotine is still there. Now,
for a while, it's going to be there. It's going to be there, and the body's going to start releasing and getting rid of toxic. That's what your body does. That's why we have lungs to get rid of toxic. That's why we have kidneys to cleanse our system. That's why we have the intestine. So we have, our system, the way God made this body is a mini universe. You have everything you need. We are self-sufficient. We don't need anything else. Everything is within us. So the body heals itself. We take medication because we are desperate. A lot of times we take medication because we are desperate. I have a patient of mine, and she has severe gastritis, and she never taken medication. And one of my assistants say, I'm gonna get the proton pump inhibitor so she can take it. I said, no, don't do that. She doesn't take that stuff. So I asked her, do you want to take a proton pump inhibitor? You want me to give you some over-the-counter? And she said, no chemical. I said, okay. So I sent her to see Michelle and talk about the organoderma and the product that we have. And I said, why don't we try that because of the pH neutrality of this product? And that's what she did, because she wanted to go completely natural. So she wasn't desperate. Some people come in and say, you have to get me better now. Say, okay, so here come the big gun. Here come the injections and the antibiotic and what have you. The Coumadin is high. If you're taking Coumadin and the level is high, you can get vitamin K and bring it down really quick. But you can just wait, and it will come down also. Not so fast, but it will come down. You get a little upper respiratory infection. Your immune system can fight it. You just have to find those things that will help your immune system fight, and it will get better. And sometimes it takes people looking at their kids and say, you know what, I'm going to quit smoking. Or when they get the first heart attack, they say, I'm going to stop now. Or the first stroke, I'm going to stop that. But that's not preventive medicine. That's not what I like to practice. I like to work with them and say, before you get that complication.
Willpower, willpower. That's maybe we have to have one of your radio shows on
and
willpower.
For the people that are concerned and bought into electronic cigarette, go to smokefree.gov, G-O-V, smokefree.gov, and you can find out all of the products that the government have proven or have accepted aids to help you quit smoking. But the e-cigarette, I was one of those ignorant person that have no idea of the other side of the coin.
I admire you so much.
And now that I do, we all know.
I admire. Dr. Mencia, of course, is the founder and the medical director of the Adult and Geriatric Medical Center. Home visits for those of you who have elder patients at home. There is a way now that you can have a physician visit, which is very unusual, and I'm so happy he's done that. And also, they're open on Saturdays, really important. He's rushing out now to go do that. Phone number 954-489-1345, and I'm going to repeat that again, 954-489-1345. Their website is adultgeriatrics.com. They're located on East Commercial Boulevard, just a little bit west of the Holy Cross Hospital. And I can't thank you enough, Dr. Mencia, for being in my life for so many years and also now for 2014. It's just such a pleasure to have you come here every morning.
Same here. I love you so much.
I love
Anita.
you too. All right, we're going to have I would use this. After Dr. Mencia, I always say Dr. Joe Karp. We're going to have him in just 1 minute. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to The Wonderful World of Wellness with Dr. Andy Mencia. Be sure to tune in each Saturday morning from 7 to 7:30 right here on WSBR 740 AM.